Hey guys, Monsel here again, and today we're going to talk about how to be more creative. Creativity is one of the most important skills that people are trying to achieve today because it's just so valuable for our economy. It's so rare to be able to consistently be creative, and typically creativity helps to improve things at an order of magnitude greater than they would if you just spend a bunch of time focusing on certain tasks. So when we look at different cognitive performance metrics, having increased focus and concentration is great, but generally that's a little bit more dependable and consistent, whereas having added creativity can sometimes be a little bit trickier. And so one thing that I think is really important for us to do is reevaluate our perspective of what creativity is. Now, we all want to increase creativity as a skill. I even said it before, as a skill, but the truth is, creativity might not be a skill, it might be more of a state of mind. And so I would encourage us to really consider if creativity is more a state of mind, something that might come from flow states, for example, which Stephen Kotler and Jamie Wheel have studied extensively in their flow genome project, where they helped to really ascertain how getting into flow states can reliably provide creative states and solutions as well. There's a McKinsey report showing that executives are far more productive and creative when they are in flow states. And so people have been starting to look to flow states as a reliable way of getting in a creative mental space. But the interesting aspect of all this research suggests that one of the main ways to increase creativity is decrease the cognitive load. Now, reducing cognitive load can essentially be boiled down to reducing anxiety, reducing the kind of monkey mind that's going on, and just being really focused in the present. But how do we do that? Number one, I would suggest, is deep work. This is really uninterrupted work. Turn off your cell phone or put it on airplane mode. No email, no distractions. Just focus on the deep work. And the more you get into that mental space and the more regularly you can do that, hopefully you can do that daily, the more likely you are to decrease your cognitive load and increase your creativity as a process. Now, just consider if your cognitive load is being weighed down by not just the work that you're doing, but also the text that you're getting from your girlfriend, and the text from your friend, and the message from some angry customer. So all these things add to your cognitive load, and it's just far better to be in a mental space without those distractions. Now, number two kind of piggybacks on the first one, and it's start fresh, whether that means working early in the morning, waking up early in the morning before most people are awake, or whether that means staying up a little bit later than most people, whether you're a night owl or a morning bird, doesn't really matter. The point is to try and use some of these hours where the rest of the world is not up and they're not trying to ping you constantly. There's something about being awake at 6 in the morning, knowing that people in office jobs won't be available till 9 o'clock, 3 hours. That gives you a sense of freedom to focus on the work. Then number three is microdosing LSD. And it's becoming increasingly popular, and as I said in the last video, a nootropic survey in 2017 showed that microdosing LSD improved pleasantness. Now, what if microdosing was so valuable for creativity, not for any other special reason besides the fact that it was more pleasant, reduced anxiety, and gave people reduced cognitive load? Now, I don't know, it's just a hypothesis that comes from seeing some of that subjective data, but I would say that all accounts suggest microdosing LSD can be very effective for improving creativity. Now, number four, the final option that I suggest would be to simply take some time away from stimulants. Oftentimes, stimulants that improve focus and concentration, according to that same nootropic survey and plenty of other research, the drugs that improve focus and concentration also increase anxiety and stress. And these are the types of things that make it really challenging to get into a creative space. Anxiety and stress are all cognitive loads that make it hard for us. So if you take some time away from the stimulants, maybe use a microdose and do some deep work, you're probably going to find this combination gives you a lot more creativity.